President Cyril Ramaphosa will outline the government's vision and plans for the year ahead. And as we have been saying, this will be the first State of the Nation address of the 7th Democratic Administration. And President Ramaphosa will also reflect on South Africa's achievements over the past year. Now, consumer inflation is at a 4-year low. What were the notable achievements in the past financial year as far as the economics front is concerned? We joined now by SABC News economics editor Tshepo Mongoai. Tshepo, good morning. So much anticipated tomorrow's State of the Nation address. It is, of course, the first for the Government of National Unity, and this was meant to signal a period of rebuilding and recovery, so to speak, for, among others, our economy.
No, absolutely. I think there are a number of areas that I think will be key. Number one is the president must actually give more meaning in terms of measures to alleviate poverty for the poor. So we know that social spending remains a key priority despite the fact that the fiscal is under pressure. So there'll be a whole lot of emphasis on that. As you may recall, with the previous State of the Nation address, the issue around zero rating of certain items, they want to expand that basket. If the negotiations went well with SARS in terms of how much they will be able to forgo as they implement this zero rating, we do expect that there could be a little bit more. But if you look, and you've been observing some of the discussion within the ANC, there is really a push to ensure that indeed that must happen. And obviously, if the president pronounced on that, in the following week, on the 18th, of course, the Minister of Finance will give more details around that particular issue. And of course, the transformation, the economic transformation, the ANC seems quite determined to continue and to affirm its presence around that particular agenda. We know that, for example, the industrial projects that the DTI has undertaken, they want to push the transformation agenda. Incentives have been one of the measures that government has been using to attract investment in South Africa. Of course, there's been a whole lot of questions around the efficiency of that. So we do expect that the government will probably pronounce on making such incentives more efficient. There's been some gaps in terms of that. Remember, government spend a lot of money to actually attract this company to invest here, and sometimes there's no return. The special industrial zone, for example, we are told that for every 5 rand, the 1 rand, they get 4 rand in return for investment, but they have not been able to create jobs, and we know that's what we need. Of course, they've been able to sustain some of the investments, but given the amount of money that government is spending to actually buy these investments, there should be a little bit more that actually they get, particularly when it comes to job creation.
And there's going to be a lot of discussion over these sort of matters. The late former finance minister, Tshepo Mongoai, who spoke about zero-based budgeting and perhaps looking more at working from that perspective. So, but let's park that for the time being for the budget when we get to that particular speech. But we saw with Griselda Lewis earlier speaking to some of the elderly, the socio-economic issues are key. You saw with the children who were speaking to Lula Mamatya as well. There are many needs that the communities have. And this is, of course, what government will ultimately be judged on, how it delivers to the citizens.
I think protecting the vulnerable would be quite important. We expect that the president should actually pronounce on the issue of the basic income grant, or whatever social protection they come up with.
What's happening with the basic income grant?
There has to be there has to be some kind of protection for the poor that government comes with. Of course, we know with the 350 or 370 now that they're receiving, there's been a court ruling that the criteria and the mean that they use to qualify the people was quite unfair, because there were a lot of people who were supposed to receive it and they did not receive it. So they must really look at that and ensure that those who receive it go ahead and receive it. But I do expect that such intervention will be a little bit more targeted because the fiscals is under pressure. So they will ensure that they define who actually is supposed to receive these grants.
The fiscus is under pressure, the citizens are under pressure, everybody's under pressure. But we have to leave this, Tshepo, but quickly, the United States. And of course, what's happening with Donald Trump, the funding situation, the future of funding to South Africa, that of course is a key one.
No, it's important, but probably I think South Africa prefers diplomacy, and we do expect the president will be more diplomatic in his stance. He may be a little bit affirmative in terms of the stance that the US has taken, especially against South Africa. So he will pronounce on that and South Africa's position. But I do think that, of course, South Africa will indicate its stand that it's willing and open for business and will continue to trade with the US. But there is still a lot of policy uncertainty in terms of how we're going to navigate that area.
Indeed. So we wait to hear tomorrow, not long to go anymore. SABC News economics editor Tshepo Mongoai there with a preview of what the president is likely to focus on as far as speaking to some of the economic conditions in the country.